Everybody, I'm so excited to be here today. My name is Danielle Kessenger, and I am a certified child passenger safety technician instructor with the Players Center for Child Health at Wolfson Children's Hospital. So, once again, I'm Danielle Kessenger, a certified child passenger safety technician instructor at Wolfson Children's Hospital in the Children's Advocacy Center. And if you didn't know we had an advocacy center, now you do. And I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much to the JCA Fitness and Wellness group for sponsoring this part of the YMCA Healthy Living series. I'm so excited because I love car seat safety. I have been doing car seats for over 16 years, and I do have 3 children of my own. The kids are out of car seats, but definitely still in seatbelts. So I'm so excited, and I hope you are too. Please make sure that you comment, ask questions. Definitely look at the description of this live video, as it also has a web page for you to be able to sign up for virtual sessions and an email address that can give you some answers that I answer, and it's pretty quick to get an answer. Anyway, today we're going to start with some selection. So 4 steps to kids riding in cars. The first step is going to be rear facing. Most people know that children, brand new babies, need to be rear facing in the car. There's 2 different types of car seats that do that, and I have examples of those. We'll go over that. But rear facing, the question is, how long do we rear face? The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that we rear face children, that means facing the back of the car, until the maximum capacity of a convertible seat. So let's look at the 2 different types of seats that we can use rear facing. This is one. You may see this, looks familiar. Not representing any brand or endorsing any brands today. This just happens to be what I have. This is a rear facing only seat. It can be used by itself or with the base. So this seat, this particular one, goes from 4 pounds to 30 pounds, and then it also has a weight limit and a height limit of 30 inches or less. And all of that information can be found in the manual, which is your best friend when it comes to car seats, or on the labels on the side. So if you take a look at the labels on the side of the car seat, you will see all kinds of very important information on there. Like I said, this has a base that you can install in the car. This base is a convenience base. Most of the rear-facing only car seats out there do not require you to use the base in the car. So you can install the car seat itself without that being in there. The base has some nice features though. The convenience aspect of it is that you install this base and it stays in the car. Unless you need to detail your car or get it worked on or get a new car, this stays in the car. So you know you've got it installed correctly every time, and then you just click the car seat in and out to make it easy. So that's one kind of car seat for rear facing. The next kind of car seat you can use for rear facing, we've got Susie sitting in this one now. This is a convertible car seat. It looks bigger. Some people call this a big kid seat. Some people call it a toddler seat. But this seat has some different features to it. It's a convertible, and what I like to say is it can go 2 ways. So it converts from rear facing to forward facing. This particular one, there's a little flip foot down at the bottom that turns it to rear facing, the light gray foot that you see down there. And when we put this rear facing, we can see that it is, sorry Susie, we can see that it is reclined, and Susie is doing just fine. One way that you know it's a convertible car seat is that it has 2 different places that you can put the belt path, that you can put the seat belt through. It's called the belt path. One of the characteristics of this rear facing only seat is that you only have one belt path. You'll see this archway here, and under there there's a hole. And when you look at the top of it, it actually says vehicle belt path. So you would take the seatbelt and put it up through this arch, over the top of the base, down through that arch and buckle, and make it nice and tight. And we'll talk about installation in a minute. But one belt path so it can go one direction. And many of us have probably seen somebody try to use this forward facing at some point. It's not safe. So if you see someone trying to do that, just advise them it's not safe. This car seat has two belt paths. You will notice that they are labeled on this one. They're color coded. On this particular seat, green is rear facing and blue is forward facing. So when I look here, see my hands disappearing? That is a hole that is the belt path. So whatever hole is closest to the vehicle seat back, where you're placing the car seat, in the direction that you're putting it, that is the one you're going to use. So this would be just fine. But you notice here that Susie is a bigger kid, right? This doll is representative of a 3-year-old. Most people say, oh my gosh, a 3-year-old rear facing. What do they do with their legs? Well, that's a very good question, and I'm so glad you asked. Just like Susie's doing in here, they will crisscross applesauce, put their feet up the back, put them over the side. Toddlers and young children are very flexible, unlike you and I. Well, if you're on the JCA Fitness and Wellness page, you might be pretty flexible, but you might not be comfortable continuing to rear face. So here's my baby. This is about the size of an average newborn, but let me just explain to you why we do rear facing longer. So right now, when you have a newborn, you notice that the head doesn't have a lot of strength in the neck here supporting it. When we are rear facing, we are protecting the head, neck, and spine as long as possible. When we keep this protected, inside here is the spinal cord. Super important to protect that because it tells your body what to do, right? Well, right here, this bone is not really bone. It starts out as 3 parts, and they do not form a complete circle around that spinal cord to protect it. 2-year-olds, low chance that that might become bone by then. 4-year-olds, you've got a little bit better chance, probably closer to, I want to say 90% chance that that could be a bone-like structure instead of pieces of cartilage, and be able to protect that spinal cord a little bit more. When we're rear facing, the car seat cradles the child, keeping that head, neck, and spine in alignment, and it helps the child to ride down or slow down with the features of the car seat and the car. There's safety features built into both things, and it's important that we give the baby the best chance we can. If we were to move that child forward facing, of course we'd never put a little one like this forward facing. But let's say we put this guy forward facing and we get into a crash. Now this is an 18-month-old. If we get into a crash, this child's head is going to fly forward, and then that spinal cord, which is not very well protected, is not very well protected. And so dangerous things can happen. And that's why we want to keep them, even at this age, crisscross applesauce, supported head, neck, and spine. And you know what? The great thing is, if you don't show them any different, they really don't know any different. Unless they see siblings that are older, that are already facing a different direction or in a different way of riding in the car. Keep it positive. Every time you put little Johnny in, Johnny, I'm so excited. We're going to go for a ride today. Put Johnny in, buckle Johnny up. Snug to hug. Look at that. You look so great in there. Let's go for a ride now that you're all safe. Keeping it positive is super important. In everything we do as parents, if we can keep our attitude positive, it will definitely help the child to stay a little calmer, Not every toddler is going to stay calm, but it will definitely help you to stay calm if you can keep that positive interaction going. All right, thanks, Johnny. All right, so we have Susie rear facing, and Susie is 30 pounds. So how long can we rear face in a convertible seat? Good question. Again, we're going to go to the labels. On this particular seat, we can rear face to 40 pounds. How old do you think that is? Well, in this case, we've got a 3-year-old that's 30 pounds. I know that my twins were pretty small, and they could have rear faced for a really, really long time. And we also have a height limit on this. The height limit on this one is 40 inches. However, there are seats out there that go to higher standing height limits and higher weight limits for rear facing. So there are some that go to 40 pounds and 49 inches, 50 pounds and 59 inches. So you need to be aware of how your child is growing and what you may need in your vehicle to keep your child as safe as possible. Once we are done with rear facing, and we've either outgrown it by the height requirement, the maximum height, or the maximum weight, or child has to have at least 1 inch from the top of their head to the top of the car seat. When they're at any one of those points, they have outgrown that seat in that direction. So as long as they're growing and they're not super generously sized for their age, you are probably safe to turn them forward facing at that point. So if we were to turn my friend Susie forward facing, we'd need to look at a couple things. We'd need to look at the harness height. Right now the harness is just below Susie's shoulders. For forward facing, I'm going to have to move it up and put this footer in, the reclined foot, so that she sits upright. I'm going to check my manual to make sure that I don't have to change any of the crotch buckle or the harness buckle positions. And then I'm going to install it, remembering that this is a convertible seat and there are 2 belt paths. So I'm going to choose the belt path that is closest to the vehicle seat back on the seat in the direction it's facing. So if I were to put this here and go to secure it, I'm going to put it through this belt path right here. Okay, on the other side it's marked in blue. The other very important thing when we move to forward facing for installation is going to be to use that tether. Now this particular manufacturer started making their tether adjuster red, which is very nice. It really draws the attention to it, and it's really easy to spot. So this is stored somewhere on the car seat when it starts. And thank you, Jarvis. That's very sweet. I'm so excited that you were able to join today. So the tether anchor is for forward facing. On almost every car seat, you can only use this forward facing. So definitely you're going to read that manual because it's going to tell you all the parts and pieces of that particular seat. When you use this tether, you need to also consult another book or go online if you don't have that book. And that would be your vehicle owner's manual. That is going to tell you where the appropriate and correct tether locations are in your vehicle. Every car made after September 2000 is required to have at least 3 tether locations in it. So you can be guaranteed that there's at least 3 places to hook this properly in your vehicle. So definitely check it out. And when you're going car shopping, you're going to want to think about how old your children are going to be, what direction they're facing, etc., and what tether anchors are available. This tether anchor this tether connector will connect to the tether anchor on this car seat. On my vehicle demo seat, it doesn't actually fit, but most of them will go under the headrest. Again, you'll find that information in your manual. It'll go through there, and then it will attach to wherever the tether anchor is. On a sedan, it'll usually be on the back deck. On an SUV, it could be on the back of the seat, or it could be on the roof, or it could be on the floor. Be careful because some of those cargo hooks kind of look like tether anchors, but they're not. Sometimes you have to flip something up to find it. And sometimes on some vehicles made in the early 2000s especially, it's under the seat. So just make sure you're reading that and you know where it is. All right. So when forward facing, again, we're going to use that forward facing belt path. I would need to move the harness up for my friend Susie. So let's, super easy. I'm just going to loosen the harness. Usually she wouldn't be in it. And you can see this splitter plate here. This metal thing that the shoulder harness attaches to. I'm just going to take one side off. And I'm going to thread it up through the next one. And hook it back on. And then I'll do the next side. Because remember, for forward facing, that harness has to be at or above the shoulders. Whereas rear facing, it was at or below. So once again, I'm going to pull that harness through. Make sure I'm in the same slot in the front as I am in the back. And hook it back on. And now my friend Susie is ready to forward face. I always try to put the tether over the top of the seat or connect it before I get to the point that I'm installing it, because if I don't, then I can get very frustrated with the car seat, with the vehicle seat, and all of that when I can't pull it out. All right, so my seat belt is how I'm going to install this car seat. And again, I'm going to use the forward facing belt path, and all I need to do is thread the seat belt through all the way through to the end and buckle it on the other side. Wouldn't it be nice if your vehicle did this and could spin around? Yeah, I think so too. All right, and click. All right, now quick lesson on installation. There are two ways you can install a car seat. Seatbelt is one of them. Lower anchors is the other. You may hear people talk about latch. Latch stands for lower anchors and tethers for children. But remember, those tethers are really for forward-facing kids. So when I talk about rear-facing installation, I'm just going to talk about lower anchors. Boy, this is a lot of information, and that's why we offer one-on-one appointments. All right, so seatbelt. Something has to stay at a fixed length to hold this car seat to the car to use the safety features that are in the vehicle already built in, with crumple zones and airbags and everything that helps to slow down time kind of in a crash, so that there's not as much sudden jerking motions and we can take advantage of the crash forces being dissipated. It's called the ride down. So right now, if I did nothing else, this seatbelt continues to go in and out. This is human mode. The majority of your vehicles use this kind of retractor. The retractor is what's in your vehicle, behind the stuff that you can't see, behind the hard plastic, or in the seat itself. It's the part that takes up the webbing that you're not using. So that's what's causing this to go in and out. So this is human mode. When we install a car seat, we need to make sure that we've got it in car seat mode. So if we pull it gently out to the end, when it can come out no further, we'll find that we can only make it shorter. And then we need to tighten it up. So one way that I found, and of course Susie would not be in the car seat, but one way that I found, first of all, I would raise this headrest and maybe even take it off if possible, so that it's not pushing my car seat out of the way. I'm going to use some really cool forces. I'm going to use what's called the push-pull method, and two hands to do this. I'm going to use one hand to hold the car seat right where the belt path is, and this hand is going to push that way, away from me. I'm going to use the other hand to grab the shoulder belt. That's the top part that's going back into the retractor, and I'm going to grab that close to the belt path. And I'm going to push and pull at the same time. And when I pull, I'm going to pull towards me, not up, because I'm going to get better leverage pulling straight towards me. Ready? And push and pull. Did you see how that changed how the car seat fit in there? And then I'm going to take the slack. Notice I didn't let it go. And I'm going to put the slack back up here. I call that buckle, lock, tighten, BLT. Belt through the belt path and buckle. Lock the seat belt, tighten. It's lunchtime, so yeah, I'm sure we're all hungry now. So now we also have to test. We're going to take our hand and put it right where the belt path is. It's kind of like a little handle. So when I put my hand in there, I don't know if you can see it right here, probably not. When I put my hand in here, I am just going to try to move it left to right. Now my vehicle seat moves all over the place, but did you see that? Firm handshake, like you're on a job interview or shaking your father-in-law's hand or something like that with your non-dominant hand. Now I'm right-handed, so I'm going to check it left-handed. And I'm moving it left to right, so I'm moving it laterally. It can move up to 1 inch in that direction. The next way I'm going to try it is to move it out from the back of the vehicle seat. Again, with a firm handshake full of force. You do not need to be Cat 5 hurricane strength. So, firm handshake, right at the belt path. It's going to move down here by the feet, but it's secured here. And my last step will be on a forward-facing install to tighten the tether. Why is the tether important? Right now, if we did not have the tether, this car seat could move up to 32 inches. The child's head from the back of the vehicle seat could move up to 32 inches forward in a crash and still pass the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 213 requirements. However, when we add the tether, it reduces that by 4 to 6 inches. That is really significant. That could be the difference between without the tether, a real face plant into another seat or something, or with the tether, maybe not hitting anything at all. So always use the tether when forward facing. It's super important. All right, so we got Sally in there. Again, she's forward facing, and we're going to check those few things. So right now I've got the harness just above her shoulders. You can see where I'm pointing here. And I've got the harness up there. And I want to make sure that it's snug. Obviously it's not, because I'm able to pull all this out. So we're going to get the slack out from over her legs. So I pull it up. And then there's a little tail down here. And you probably know what I'm talking about, but let me show you. Right here, there's a tail. It's a piece of webbing that comes through the car seat itself. And you pull it. And now that you know what that is, watch the shoulders when I pull it, because most car seats tighten from the shoulders. So it's pretty cool to watch it. So you go ahead and pull, okay? And I'm gonna test it. Notice I am not putting my hand under there. I'm not using any kind of calibration equipment. I'm using my fingers to pinch. And I'm not pinching the child. I'm just gonna pinch right here at the shoulders. And when my fingers slip off, then it's just right. If it is too loose, I'm going to be able to pinch a fold in that harness. So snug it up. And then finally, I'm just going to take the plastic and move this chest clip up to armpit level. So tickle spot to tickle spot. You can tease your kiddos that way, keeping it positive and happy. Maybe not tease, play with them. And just keep that at armpit level. The benefit of this chest clip, it's not for a crash. It's to get the harness positioned before a crash, because the harness needs to stay on the child's shoulders so it can keep them in the car seat properly, and the car seat is buckled to the car properly. So all of those safety features working around are helping to keep your child safer in a crash. All right, so when we move this up to armpit level, that helps to keep the harness on the shoulders, so it's super snug on there. I'm going to do the pinch test again and make sure everything's right. Nothing is twisted from the hips to the shoulders, so we're A-okay in there. Everything's buckled. All right, to loosen it, most car seats have some sort of push button or device down here. This one has a silver toggle. All I'm going to do is press down on that toggle, put my fingers under the chest clip up here, and pull towards me. I made that look easy, so when you go and do your kiddos, hopefully it's as easy for you. So I push my finger down and I pull out at the shoulders. It's that easy. All right. So the same rules for buckling a child apply for rear facing, except that the harness is at or below the shoulders. So Susie's going to go sit. And let's put that, take this off, and then we will get the little baby out again so that you can see what that looks like. All right. So here we go. Now this baby would be facing the rear of the car, but it is kind of hard for me to show you if she's facing the back. So when we look in this particular car seat, first we have the canopy, we have some labels. We have a label on this side. This one talks about not putting the car seat into a front seat with an active airbag. Really important to remember. Okay, don't do that. The label on the other side is reminding you that baby always has to be buckled in here snugly. So make sure that you've got baby in there nice and snug. All right. So I'm looking in here and not much is different than was from that convertible seat. We still have harness slots, and I'm going to pick the one for a rear-facing child that's at or below the shoulders. Remember, we had to move Susie's up when we turned her forward-facing. This one only has one harness buckle position, but it still has a harness. And this one actually has a handle. As you saw, I put it back. Okay. Most handles can be in any locked position, but you're going to read that manual. Every car seat comes with one, and if you can't find your manual, the wonderful thing is you can find it online. That's really great. So I'm going to move this back so I can put the baby in. And if I move it all the way back, this is the stationary position. When I put it on a flat surface, it shouldn't rock. Keep in mind that this portable car seat is not a safe sleep situation. It's okay if baby falls asleep in here when you're driving, but you don't want to take this inside and leave the baby in it or buckle the baby in to sleep. That's just not a safe thing. All right, so you're going to put the baby's bottom all the way in, pull the harness over. You kind of do it like a coat over the shoulders. Okay, you pull these little things over the hips and you snap it in. One of my favorite sounds in the world. If you don't hear the snap, you're going to look to see if anything's caught in there. And then you're going to put the chest clip together. It does not matter what order you do this in. Again, babies are small. We're going to make sure that we're getting all of the slack out from the hips to the shoulders on this particular, most seats that are out there. Think of it like your tennis shoes. You're getting your slack out from your toes to your ankles so your feet don't come out. Same thing with the baby. So I've got it buckled in. I'm going to keep the chest clip low to start, and I'm going to pull the slack out over the baby's hips. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up. Notice how the chest clip moved as I did that. So we want this to be at armpit nipple level for a newborn. It's kind of hard to find their armpits sometimes. So you're just going to move that chest clip up where it goes, and the harness should be at or below the baby's shoulders. All of this padding came with this car seat, so it's safe to use. But I do need to know that some padding has weight limits. I'm going to check that all out in my manual. Okay, so those are the first two important ways that kids need to ride in the car. Rear facing until they outgrow their rear facing convertible seat by height, weight, or harness height, and then forward facing. Well, the next question people ask is, when can the child move to a booster seat, or when can they come out of a harness? I have a booster seat that I put behind me, and Susie's sister is in the seat, and I'm going to show you why we use a booster seat first. This is Sally. Sally is 6 years old and 60 pounds, and Sally here, she's outgrown her harness by height. She just outgrew it. It's no longer above her shoulders. It's below in the seat that she has. So she thinks she can try to ride on the vehicle seat. Unfortunately, when we put the seatbelt on Sally, the seatbelt rubs against her neck here, and it's up on her belly. Kids don't have bones in the bellies, and that seatbelt needs a bone to grab onto to keep them safe. So those nice flat bones in the hip, that's what we're looking for. So Sally, this does not work for you. To keep you safe, we're going to put you in a booster. So boosters come in all shapes and sizes. Some have backs, some do not. Some car seats convert to many different ways to use them. A multi-mode seat might become a booster later on, but you are going to have to check the fit of the seatbelt to the child. This one actually raises on the back to adjust for the child's height. And when we look at this, let's look from the side. Remember we talked about those hips? Well, now that hip bone that kind of curves over that you see on the skeletons at Halloween time, that doesn't really happen until after puberty sets in. So we need something to keep it low. That's what these things are. They're armrests is what we call them, but honestly they're like false hips, and that's going to keep the seatbelt low. The other thing that we have on most of these seats with the back is a belt guide. So you can see my fingers going through there. That should be at or above the shoulder, having a nice straight line for the seatbelt. If you have a backless booster, a booster without a back and it's designed to be used that way, you may have a piece like this that attaches to it. It could be red, black, gray, many different things. But this, all you do is place this on the seatbelt to help to keep that seatbelt on their shoulder. Because what would happen if I put Sally in the vehicle seat with the seatbelt, how she was? She's going to put that seatbelt behind her back. Now let's put her in this booster and see how different that seatbelt fits. So we're going to put the belt in the belt guide and go ahead and turn her around and buckle her in. And I did read the instructions on this, so I know that I need to put the lap belt only under this side and the lap and shoulder belt both on the buckle side on this seat. Some seats may have different rules. So this is still coming off of Sally's shoulder a little, so I'm going to raise it up. All right, Sally, move this way. All right, so there's Sally. Look at the difference on where that seatbelt is on her. It's way low on her hips, so it's on those strong bones. That's what we're looking for. We have to wait to move a child out of a booster into a seatbelt until they can fit properly. So let me tell you a little bit about that. 5-step test or safety belt fit test, whatever you want to call it. 1, the child has to be able to sit back to back, crack to crack. Yes, crack to crack. So their back against the vehicle seat back, their bottom against the vehicle seat crack, and then their knees need to bend over the edge. If their knees don't bend over the edge, they're going to move forward so that they're comfortable, or they're going to slouch so they're comfortable, and now that bottom is no longer at that seat crack, and that lap belt is going to go up on their soft belly. So back to back, crack to crack, knees over the edge, and then we're looking for their feet to touch the floor. When their feet touch the floor, they are more likely to stay in that position. Then we can buckle them up and see how the seatbelt fits. Because if the seatbelt still doesn't fit them properly, they may need some sort of belt positioner that has passed the FMVSS 213 standards. So that would be, there's a couple products out there that are not safe, and they're like the triangles that go on the belt here, or the little clips or something. That's not safe. It's usually something the child sits on, and it has a belt guide down below. So there are, if you need more help with that, let me know in an email, and I will be happy to help you with that. Okay? So back to back, crack to crack, feet on the floor, knees over the edge. And then we need to have that seatbelt go, like you put your hand on your heart to say the Pledge of Allegiance. It needs to go right in that area and get hippie with it. Keep that lap belt is what people don't generally look at. Keep that low and tight over their hips. So those are the 4 stages of keeping kids safe in cars. There's a lot more information that we can provide to you, but this is just 30 minutes of me talking, and I can do a whole lot more to help you. Usually, if you know anything about our services, usually we have free car seat checks available by appointment, face-to-face, on a Tuesday morning. And now we're in a parking garage, so we're really happy about that. We don't have to cancel when it rains. But CDC recommendations are that we are not meeting face-to-face right now. We do have an option, another free option for you. And you're going to see that in the comments or the description of this. I'll also put it in the comments later. We have free virtual sessions. We're not calling them car seat checks because we can't be there to physically make sure that everything is exactly how it should be, but they're really thorough. And it's you and whatever other adults you need or want with you. Maybe your child if your child's already born. And this is for grandparents, expectant parents, parents of kids that are already here, aunts, uncles, nannies, any caregiver that travels with kids in the car. It's what we do. We want you to keep your kids safe, and we want to equip you with the information to do so. There is so much more that I'd love to share with you, but what is according to your situation versus just a bunch of random facts and information. So please let me know how I can help. We have this information for you. You can visit us at www.wolfsonchildrens.com/car seat, and we have lots of information there. Or you can go to the ultimatecarseatguide.com. That's an app kind of thing, but it's web-based, and you can just play with that either with your specific child's information or just get basic car seat safety tips. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again, JCA Wellness, Fitness and Wellness page for having us on. We're so excited, and we hope to hear from you soon. Have a safe day.